The Renault Scénic Copyright Nic is a compact multi-purpose vehicle produced by French automaker Renault, the first to be labeled as such in Europe. It is based on the chassis of the Copyright Gain small family car. It became the 1997 European Car of the Year on its launch in late 1996. The second and third generations have a model called Grand Scénic Copyright Nic, which has 7 seats rather than 5. Scénic Copyright Nic I. The Copyright Gain Scénic Copyright Nic can be traced back to a concept car designed under the supervision of Anne Asensio, then designer at Renault. The Scénic Copyright Nic was mechanically identical to the Copyright Gain hatchback. The 1.4L, 1.6L Energy, 1.8L F-Type petrol and 1.9L diesel engines were shared with the hatchback range. The Scénic Copyright Nic was marketed as a multi-purpose vehicle, in a smaller size lower price of such vehicles as Renault's owner Space. Renault underestimated the market demand that the Scénic Copyright Nic would have predicting that it would be a niche model with only 450 produced a day. Production at the company's Douai plant would eventually peak at nearly 2,500 cars a day. Facelift. Along with the Copyright Gain hatchback, the Scénic Copyright Nic underwent a minor frontal restyle in 1999 and the newer 16-valve engines introduced. The front end was quite a bit different from the Copyright Gain counterpart, and there were also redesigned rear lights. From the time of this restyle, it became officially known as the Renault Scénic Copyright Nic, although a small Copyright Gain badge still appeared on the rear door signifying the car's origin. This model was built in Brazil with flexible fuel engines. The Phase 2 allowed the Scénic Copyright Nic to be separate from the Copyright Gain and its predecessor by introducing improvements such as a storage compartment on the dashboard, and a separate opening rear window on the tailgate. Another small improvement with the Scénic Copyright Nic were the rear head restraints which were fixed over the back of the seat rather than being upright. This increased rear visibility. Scénic Copyright Nic RX4. Renault developed a four-wheel drive derivative of the original Scénic Copyright Nic, the Scénic Copyright Nic RX4, launched in 2000 in both LHD and RHD format. Featuring a viscous, multi-disc central differential designed by Austrian specialist Steyr Daimler-Puch, it offered part-time 4WD. The rear suspension was re-engineered and the suspension was strengthened. The new rear suspension now occupied part of the space that was used for the spare wheel well and led to the spare tire being placed on the rear hatch. The RX4 rode higher with increased suspension travel and larger wheels. While these changes provided better ground clearance, the RX4 was offered with 2.0-litre petrol and 1.9 DCI diesel engines, both already known from the Copyright Gain. Production of the RX4 ceased in 2003, until the arrival of the Scénic Copyright Nic Conquest in 2007. Engines. Scénic Copyright Nic 2. Shortly after the launch of the Copyright Gain 2, an all-new Scénic Copyright Nic was launched. There is also a 7-seater compact MPV Grand Scénic Copyright Nic, with a longer wheelbase and rear overhang, which has 2 small child-sized seats in the enlarged luggage area. As with the Copyright Gain, the new car employs Renault's new corporate styling cues and much of the technology from other models such as the Renault Card keyless immobilizer and an automatic parking brake on certain trim levels. It integrates LEDs on all trim since 2006. As with the Scénic Copyright Nic I Phase 2, a raised Copyright Gain logo appears on the C-pillar in tribute of the car's origin. The Scénic Copyright Nic 2 includes folding rear passenger seats with integrated table, a folding front passenger seat, automatic headlights and windscreen wipers, childminder mirror, as well as front and rear electric windows. Facelift. Like the Copyright Gain a few months earlier, the Scénic Copyright Nic 2 underwent a mild facelift in the latter half of 2006. The redesigned areas included a slightly more pronounced grille section, larger diamond badge, the addition of a Scénic word badge on the boot lid and new wheel designs and interior trim. As with the Copyright Gain, an optional upgrade enabled all the exterior body moldings to be painted to match the bodywork. As of 2007 the Renault word badge has been removed. Scénic Copyright Nic Conquest. In 2007 the spiritual successor to the RX-4 was revealed in the form of the production-ready SCA copyright Nic Conquest. Although powered by two-wheel drive, the Conquest has a body kit, raised ride height and features accessories usually reserved for SUVs. SCA copyright Nic 3. The SCA copyright Nic 3 was released in July 2009, while the 7-seater Grand version was released in May 2009. Like the previous SCA copyright Nic, there is also a 7-seater compact MPV Grand SCA copyright Nic. Renault also offers the Grand SCA copyright Nic as a 5-seater in selected countries, while in other countries only the 7-seater is available. In 2013, Renault introduced an off-road version of the SCA copyright Nic, which was called the XMOD. This car has different styling to the normal car. Differences such as plastic cladding, raised suspension and even different wheels to the normal spec SCA copyright Nic. Facelift. An updated SCA copyright Nic and Grand SCA copyright Nic was released in March 2013, which features a new interior and exterior styling and driver aids. SCA copyright Nic in the UK sales of the SCA copyright Nic began in early 1997, and for the first 2 years the SCA copyright Nic was the only compact MPV sold by a mainstream manufacturer in the UK. However, the Vauxhall Zafira, Citroën Zara Picasso, Fiat Multipla and the Nissan Almera Tino were launched in less than 5 years. In 1997, the MAR copyright gained SCA copyright Nic was awarded the 1997 What Car of the Year. The SCA copyright Nic 2 arrived in British showrooms towards the end of 2003. The SCA copyright Nic 3 arrived in British showrooms towards summer 2009. Top Gear magazine placed the SCA copyright Nic XMOD on its list of the worst cars you can buy right now. Recall: electronic defects have caused Renault to issue 2 recalls. The first, in 2009, was because of the dashboard could stop functioning, leaving drivers without the ability to gauge their speed, fuel tank, direction indicators or anything, as all instruments were totally electronic. At first drivers had to replace this part at their own expense, but eventually, because of media pressure, Renault UK and Ireland said that they would reimburse customers up to a set limit. No reimburse was implemented by Renault in Finland, where several independent workshops launched an affordable priced fixing of blanked SCA copyright Nic panels. The second, in 2010, was because the electric handbrake could sometimes engage on its own while the car was in motion. Alternative propulsion, the Cleanover 3, presented in the 2005 Geneva Auto Show, is based on a SCA copyright Nic platform. See also, Renault Modus, the mini MPV of the manufacturer, Renault Espace, the large MPV of the manufacturer. References. External links: Renault SCA copyright Nic, spec page on the official Renault website, Renault SCA copyright Nic Owners Club, UK web-based forum for SCA copyright Nic owners. Stavelichfield.com, fan site for the Renault SCA copyright Nic.